Okay, so today our topic is going to be Illinois WorkNet tips and tools for the job seekers, and we're going to do a live screen share of how to use these tips. So first and foremost, we'd like to know, do you have an Illinois WorkNet account? And it looks like we have 100% of the people that answered the question do have an Illinois WorkNet account, so that's great. And then many of our participants today have answered the question on what resources have you used on Illinois WorkNet. So hopefully we can share a few more tips and tools with you so that you can make better use of your Illinois WorkNet account. So we're going to hide the polls now and move on with our presentation. So as you can see, we do have a live screen of Illinois WorkNet in the bottom, and we have the presentation in the top. What we're going to do is try and drive the presentation at the same time, but the PowerPoint presentation is actually just for your reference. If you want to download it and take notes on it, you're more than welcome to do that, but it will give you a future reference point for what you might need to remember down the road. So let's get started with our screen sharing and showing you all about Illinois WorkNet. So what you're going to find out today is how to navigate Illinois WorkNet and how to assist yourself to have a wide variety of job search tools that you can use, and how Illinois WorkNet actually sets itself apart from other job search sites. We are an award-winning, nationally award-winning website, and we strive on a regular basis to find more tools and goals and things that we can help our job seekers in Illinois make sure that they're getting back to their goal, which is finding new employment. So what we're going to start out with today is the navigation tools. And first and foremost, we have on our website the ability to search for a topic. So if we want to search for resumes, or if we want to search for workplace skills, if you type the word into the search bar, it will find that information for you. Secondly, we have the ability to have you follow one of the pathways, of which we have 4. We have individuals that helps the job seeker. We have businesses, that the pathway for businesses that helps a business find and do things that they need to do to make their business more successful. Key sectors is all about the demand occupations that are growing in the state of Illinois, as well as disability resources that will help those with disabilities be able to function more effectively in the workplace. Our last source on this particular page is the news and updates. And if you click on the news and updates, it will take you to a screen where it shows the latest and greatest news items, and you can watch video recordings that we've done or read different press releases that we've put out, or register for various workshops that we have available to you. So then as we go back to our next navigation tip, once you've clicked on the individuals section of the page, there are different additional avenues where you can go to find information. One of those is the step guides. And the step guides will give you step-by-step instruction of how to get from point A to point B and take you there directly. We also have on the left-hand side, if you click on one of the different topics, you'll see that there are guides along the left-hand side of the screen as well. And then last but not least, when we go to the front page, back to the front page again, we have advertisements, for lack of a better word, about the programs and the different things going on in Illinois, different programs that we have available to our residents, as well as links below that for the different programs that are available as well. And on the right-hand side, we have a calendar of events where you can click on the calendar to find out what's going on based on the topic and the day and the time. And last but not least, if you want to find out more about Illinois WorkNet and participate in a group, we do have the Virtual Job Club Network on LinkedIn where you can participate in discussions on Illinois WorkNet or about Illinois topics helping people with job search. So let's dive into the presentation a little bit further and take a bigger look at the step guides that are available. We're going to go down again into our pathways and check out the step guides. And what we have available for you is just a basic employment guide, and it gives you assistance for just the general job seeker, laid off workers, veterans, and those with disabilities. And as you're looking at the chain of help, if you hover over the image, it will give you a brief description of what the information is that's included within that icon. Again, on the left-hand side is the navigation tools to help you find the area based on what it is that you need, whether or not you are a laid-off worker. There is company-specific layoff information that will help you find the information specifically for your company, and then information for veterans and, again, persons with disabilities. Also, along the top are those same areas that have the actual step guides laid out in graphic format. And then if you look at the veterans, we see that the veterans have some help with resources in job search and connecting, and then persons with disability, as well as those laid off workers, are offered assistance with financial management plan and connecting to benefits and services. Then what you can do as well, besides getting into Illinois WorkNet, if you look at, we're going to look at Prepare. But if you start out looking at the top here, you'll see documents, videos, and links. And what that does is it takes you to documents that are associated with that particular pathway in Illinois WorkNet. But what you can do is you can log in to your own Illinois WorkNet account. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a moment to log into my account so that you can see what happens when you are actually logged in to your account. And if you notice at the top of the screen, the documents, videos, and links stay there, but you also get some additional information. So as we move forward with Illinois WorkNet, you'll be able to see the extra features if you are logged into your account. So as a job seeker, when you go into the individual pathway, you see the different topics for prepare, learn, find jobs, services, disability resources, or help you find a location. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through the different areas so that you can find out a little bit more about how these different portions of the individual pathway can help you with your job search. You can organize yourself, and if you need to do that, it will give you some suggestions and tips here on the page, as well as skills and interests. And if you identify any of the skills that you need to update, They may be just finding out what really interests you. Maybe you need some self-management soft skills or job-related skills, or maybe you need to figure out what your transferable skills are taking you from one job to another. And maybe you need to transfer those military skills into civilian workplace skills. So this will help you identify some of those tips and tricks. Again, you need to do some investigation perhaps on career paths that are available to you. We have a tool that will help you find out all the information that can help you find out what career path based on your skills interests might best suit you. So if we look at marketing, which is the field that I happen to be in, and we click on the word, you'll notice that anything with a lightning bolt is considered a demand occupation. So let's take a look at marketing managers. What this does when it pops up is it gives you some basic information about marketing managers and what kind of basics that person would need to have in that particular job. So it shows you the median Illinois income. It shows you the median national income. It tells you some basic description of what that person might do. The best feature of this is when you click the down arrow where the overview is, it will give you some additional information on that occupation. So it will give you the employment outlook, so that it will show you, okay, how is this looking for growth in my particular area? So maybe if I'm in Charleston, Effingham, Centralia, there is a 3% growth. But if I'm in the DuPage County area, there's an 11% growth, which means you might want to investigate a different career path if you're in an area that doesn't offer large growth in that field, in that particular career field. When we look at wages and trends, what this helps you with is on an interview, if someone asks you, well, what wage would you like to make, or what wage do you need to make? By using this tool, this helps you determine what the median wage is or the wage range is in your particular geographic area. So if I live in Cook County, my hourly wage rate is higher than if I live in the Decatur area. But what this does is it allows you to go into a potential employer during an interview and say, well, the wage range for this position in this area is between $52,000 and $98,000 a year. I'm sure that you would compensate me within that wage range. And then that way it lets them know that you've done your research, and it lets them know that you know what you need to be making when you are looking at a potentially new job. And there's additional information here available, like what kind of interest you need, what kind of skills and abilities, the typical working conditions, what sort of hiring practices, what kind of knowledge do you need? Do you need to watch a video about this particular occupation? So there's all sorts of information available for you. The other things that are available in Prepare are making sure that your resume is in good shape. Do you need to gather information for it? How do you share and distribute your resume? Who's going to proofread your resume before you apply? Are you submitting your resume online but not getting interviews? Maybe there's something wrong with it and you need to find out a little bit more. We also have some tools that we recommend that might be useful helping you with your job search and finding out more information about your resume. Also, we have tools and tips on writing a cover letter or preparing for a job interview. or actually applying for a job. Along with all of this, we also have, again, the videos that are available for you to take a look at. One of the biggest things that we find important, and we have devoted an entire section to, is the workplace skills. Workplace skills are comprised of three areas: academic skills, the technical skills that you may need, and then the soft skills. And we recently completed an entire series of webinars on workplace skills, and they are able to be found under the videos section, and just look for the videos that have the workplace skills wheel. So you can watch all of those. There are 6 of them in total, and you can watch them at your convenience. Next up, we have Learn. And what Learn allows you to do is to find out what sort of things that you might need to do to increase your skills. Do you have a high school diploma already, or do you need a GED? Is English your primary language, or do you need help with English as a second language? Would an apprenticeship be useful for you? Do you need help with basic skills? When was the last time you did some math? Or how often is reading involved in your job? Will you need to be able to go to college? And if so, do you need to take any of these tests that are associated with college admission? One of the tools that is just wonderful on this website is the computer skills training. And what happens here is you have the ability to use a computer skills self-survey to determine what level your computer skills are at. Many employers these days require you to be able to at least operate a mouse and a keyboard. Even manufacturing these days are using more and more computers, so it's very important to be able to have some computer skills. When you realize what your level is after having taken the survey, you can learn more about computer skills by going to the last step and finding out, what can I do to improve my skills? So this is all available as a benefit on Illinois WorkNet. We also have information on financial aid and scholarships, as well as what sort of training options and educational options are there available to you. If you need to find a particular program, you can find it by occupation or by the program or the type of school, whether it's a veterans program or whether it's available through a Whea certified training provider. So that's some great information that's all compiled for you as a benefit in Illinois WorkNet. Let's take a look at finding a job. That's what many of us need, is the ability to actually find a job. So here we have a list of resources that will help you, and then you can look at the various tools. So if we look at the job search tools, we have many of them available. And if you look down the list, there is references that you can look at. So looking on Twitter to find recruiters, or Work for Illinois, or USA Jobs. These are all just a few websites that we found that might help you that you may not have thought about in the past. So as we go down, we also have a link to Illinois Job Link. And Illinois Job Link is part of the Illinois Department of Employment Security. If you are drawing unemployment, you do need to have an account with JobLink. And what that does is it helps employers who post a free job posting match with the employees who are looking in Illinois. We have a partnership with Indeed, And what you can do is you can look in Indeed, put in a keyword, or type key sectors, find out what kind of job you want, what the zip code is, or the search radius, and then look for jobs posted on Indeed. So this is a very nice tool because it's all within Illinois WorkNet. The other thing that you may want to do, we have local listings as well that people have put on our website on Illinois WorkNet. The other thing that is always important is networking. When you network, you let people know that you have particular skills. And we have a section on Illinois WorkNet about how to network a little bit better, finding networking opportunities, how to tell people about yourself, including your 30-second elevator pitch. We actually had a webinar on your elevator speech. And last but not least, you may want to take the opportunity to investigate starting your own business. Maybe you have a particular skill or talent that would be able to be offered in a consulting capacity or in a small shop opening up a business. So not everybody has the business acumen that they need. They may have the talent, but they need more help with actually getting the business off of the ground. So this will help you find some of those resources that you may need to start that business. Under services, we have different tools that might help you be able to advance yourself into the job search market. Perhaps you need help with childcare or health services. Maybe you need a little bit of assistance finding out things about housing. Perhaps you have moved to this country and need some immigrant resources. If you were laid off, you might need some help figuring out how to reduce your budget so that you can live through the layoff. There may be public assistance needs. Maybe you were incarcerated and are beginning to re-enter the system. Perhaps you need some help with transportation, and then maybe you need to apply for unemployment insurance. So all of these resources are available to you and to help you make your job search that much easier. We also have a section on disability resources. And what helps here is the employer may not know of some of the accessibility tools that are available to them. You, on the other hand, as the disabled individual, may need to find out what sort of benefits you might receive, or are there community services available? What are your rights and advocacy? Are you a youth in transition to the workforce? The work incentives, there are all sorts of tax incentives available to an employer for hiring someone with disabilities. And all of these tools are available to you in one place. This is nice for you to have this information in your back pocket so that when you go to a job interview as a disabled individual, you can let the employer know that these different points are available should they decide to hire you. One of the other tools that are available is to find a location. What I like about this is, say you have family, maybe you live up in McHenry County, and you have family that's down in Jackson County. You're going to go down for an extended visit, and you want to find out where you might be able to find a center where you can go in and print some resumes or use the computer. So you click on that workforce area, and it tells you exactly where the offices are, what their hours are, and what resources are available. at those offices. So Carbondale and Mount Vernon, Illinois are available to you if you're down in that particular area. So now let's take a look at once you are logged in. So we saw how I can go log into my account, and we are now in my individual workNet account. So as we're looking at this, the screen matches the presentation. What you're able to do when you're logged into your Illinois workNet account is save your work and save the results of the surveys that you take. Find shortcuts, do different sorts of things that you may not be able to do if you're not logged in. So first and foremost, let's take a look at messages. And when we look at the messages, one of the things that may happen here is Illinois workNet may send out a message. If you're working with a particular case manager at one of the workNet centers, they may send you a message. So this is where those messages would come in. Notes. Raise your hand if you are familiar with the notes section on Illinois workNet. The little man at the top of the screen. Nobody. So let's take a look at these notes. So what we want to do is save a note. And if you noticed here, I can go back and take a look at the notes that I have saved. So if I go in and say, I want to call Jim's employment, and I select a category, so it's about jobs, and I say, on Monday, August 12th, call Sally at Jim's employment. And then I go down to the bottom, and I can save this. Then when I go back, I can look in there and I can call Jim's employment. It tells me what I've done. This is useful if you do not have a regular calendar. You can use this as your job search follow-up tips and tricks. And it will help you stay on top of when you did something with an employer or whether or not you missed the something with the employer. So under the shortcuts, what you can do is you can add different links either on Illinois workNet or on an external website. So maybe I want to go look at job information. So I go to ONET online, and I find some information on ONET about a particular occupation that I want to do. So I find this marketing managers, and I click in the address line, and I copy it. I go back to Illinois workNet. I add a new external link, and this is ONET marketing info. Got to spell it right. I enter the web address, and I add the link. And what it does is it tells me where my shortcut is. Now, if I had found the same information on Illinois workNet somewhere, I can save that shortcut information, and it will stay right here. So that's a very, very useful tool on Illinois workNet. If you don't want to try to remember, oh, where did I see that last? I just can't remember. You can just save it right here in your shortcuts. Under the Skills tab, what this helps you do is identify the skills that you need to determine what sort of job would be the best for you. So you can take the 10 to 20 minutes on these and figure out what the interests are that will help you make the next step in your career path. It will tell you, okay, you need to do this kind of job in this career path with these sorts of interests. And if you're working with a case manager at a workNet center or a career center, you can save this and they can have access to this to help you with that. Under the activities section, this kind of gives you a start to finish sort of opportunity so that you can plan your job search and complete the different activities that will help you be more successful in your job search. So if you take the pre-assessment guide, you can complete it, and then you can set up an email in your Illinois WorkNet account. Maybe you need to identify your skills, which we were just talking about. You can find out a little bit more about your job search preparation and your resume writing activity. All of these different tools. Maybe you need to find a training program. Maybe you need to learn a little bit more about networking. Perhaps it is more about managing your money or setting goals to make a plan. When you're all done with all of those activities, what you'll want to do is take the post-assessment test. And you only need to score 70% or higher, and you will be able to achieve a certificate. Some employers like the certificates that are offered so that they know that you have your plan in place for your job, other than just particular training. And then we're back at home, looking at the different opportunities that are available for you on Illinois WorkNet. You can find all of the different programs. Remember that the calendar here is here with all of the different webinars that are coming up when we have them scheduled. But what I would like for you to remember is that Illinois WorkNet is an award-winning program that offers multiple resources for job seekers. If you establish an account, it allows you to save items for future reference. And Illinois Job Prep is the mobile version of Illinois WorkNet with almost all of the exact same features available on your smartphone. Illinois WorkNet is constantly striving to bring the most features to Illinois job seekers to make them the best candidates for the jobs out there. So as we conclude today's webinar, I'd like for you to take a moment to ask us any last-minute questions, and then take a moment or two to fill out the final polling questions for us. And I'd like to thank Chelsea for helping me by putting all of those wonderful links in the chat pod. This session has been recorded and will be posted on Illinois WorkNet. So you can go to the news items to find the release about where this webinar is posted. And you can share this with any of your friends who might not be aware of Illinois WorkNet at this time. Is the ONET feature also including salary information in the national areas? It is, ONET does feature salary information at a national level. To find out the Illinois or the regional levels in Illinois, you do need to go into Illinois WorkNet as I showed you in the feature of the webinar. But even having a national average, it gives you a little bit of a gauge as to what should be acceptable in or near your area. We have a few people typing. ONET is available at other state levels as well. So if you put in a different state, you can find it out from there. Okay, we'll wait just another moment or two to see if anybody else has any questions. Oh, thank you, Chelsea. R. Brooks is asking, is there funding available for Whea? It will depend on where you live. The new funding year started July 1st, so depending on your particular workforce area is whether or not you can find out about if there's funding available. And Chelsea just put the link into the pod for the locations, which you can make a phone call and ask to speak to a Whea representative. And Maria put in her zip code and the same thing. Please check that location's zip code to find the center nearest to you. I'd like to thank everybody again for their time. Chelsea is just wonderful helping on the back end of the webinar. If it weren't for Chelsea and Lacey and Natasha, these webinars would not necessarily always happen. So they are great support for me especially, as well as for Illinois WorkNet in general. They work very hard at making all of this work better for all of you. So if I see no other questions happening, we will be concluding today's session. You may be able to watch it on IllinoisWorkNet.com. Check the video section and check the news item. And we do have one last question. Do you have any information on platform to employment? I'm not familiar with that program. Chelsea, if you know anything, if you can put that in the chat pod. Platform to employment could be a Department of Human Services program. I'm not completely familiar with it at all. Yes, the program is complete.